Welcome to Resting Place Discovery Group. It's July 25th, 2022. And we just thank you right now, Lord, for welcoming us and for opening the door for us so that we can come in and dine with you to receive revelation experience. And we appreciate that. We thank you for the men in white linen, the cloud of witnesses, the seven spirits of God to join us. We welcome them. We welcome all the angels. And yeah, we look forward to hitting the perfect bullseye with you, Lord, tonight, for whatever it is that you want to share with us, to teach us, for us to experience. So I always love seeing us at the Tree of Life when we first go in. I see it as a place of unity where we all come together, and I always see the Lord present there as well. I just saw a lion come to join us as well.
Wow.
We welcome the king, the lion, one of the four faces of God. And at any time you hear something, perceive something, smell something, taste something, please share.
Well, as soon as Andy talked about, or whoever saw the lion, I saw fire behind him.
Well, I
Like-
saw a crown on his head.
Oh, okay. Very good. Okay.
I feel like the fire represents heat and power, mainly power.
So I'm seeing like deep waters.
Yeah, like the I always perceive that next to the Tree of Life is also the River of Life, and that there's like the deep waters that's right there by where the waterfall comes in.
Yeah, I thought that I saw kind of like a being standing behind what looked to be maybe like a small podium. Maybe they were hosting this area or something. And there probably is a theme between the fire and the water. So I'm thinking there might be something with that as well.
That's what I felt.
What was that, Debbie?
That's what I felt.
Hmm.
That's connected.
Do you sense that the fire um
It says power to me, power. That's what I
power,
got.
yeah,
Yeah.
that it enhances the water, like it just makes it even that much more powerful?
It could, when you said that, my mind, and you guys will have to check this, but I saw, and I've seen this before, the fire sits on top of the water. And so that's what I saw when Debbie mentioned water.
That's interesting because in ancient times they did have something that you could put on top of water and it would burn. It was called, I think it was called naphtha, and it would actually burn on top of water. But I was thinking maybe also that there's something with between mixing the elements of fire and water and producing steam, which in turn is power. So there's a connection, I think, with a mixture of the elements there and the idea of power, and perhaps on the idea of being on top of the water as well.
I feel like it's the elements, Andy. That's the feeling I got.
Okay.
How does that get explained in terms of being in us? Water's in us. Does anyone know that?
Um, well, I know a lot of times in engagements, I've been offered a flame, and the being would tell me to take it or put it within me or something like that. So when you take fire within you, you take whatever that essence is. So if the fire here symbolizes power, then maybe that's a power element. Maybe it's giving you power to do something. But always check my deductions.
Well,
Sometimes I could be very logical.
I wanted to go into the steam that was
Yeah.
being produced. I wanted to absorb it.
Yes.
Hmm.
Just have to say that I was in an engagement today, and the fire showed up and the power, which is pretty amazing, inside. And power was connected to the fire. I don't know what the steam has to do with it yet.
Well, like
Or the water.
like a steam engine train, let's say, it runs off of steam. That's where it gets its power. A teapot, when the steam comes out of it is when the water gets to a boiling point. So it creates the power, the steam. So I see it's just pretty powerful. being able to step into that steam, I think.
Here, this is just kind of a crazy grab here, but steam causes things to rise. So I'm wondering if you get into the steam, if it'll take you up to another level in this tree. Like maybe up to different levels of the tree or wherever this is taking us. But I'm wondering if the steam is being created by the fire and the water as a lift.
Yeah, I see that. So does everybody want to get into the steam?
Yeah. So the power would be there after the steam, right? Typically.
Yes.
Yes.
I think what it's doing for me is giving me a different perspective, like a advanced vantage point.
Yes.
It also, you were talking earlier about purity. It also purifies as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also used for diffusing. So, as far as elements or oils.
I have also heard when you engage the four faces, you can get the perspective of that particular facet of God. So, for instance, if you engage the eagle's face, you would get something like deep perception. But the lion's face, the lion, he's intention, he's power, he's he gives you a different perspective on things because he's an apex being. So one of the four faces of God. So, but I'm with you. I think there's something with the steam and things being infused, and I think the being could have been maybe a host or um, we'll have to see who that is, but
So I seem to feel the steam building and momentum lifting, especially by breathing in and out. That's what did it with me.
Hmm.
it's almost like it's creating a lift.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Does the steam have any type of odor, any type of scent?
Mm, I haven't picked up anything yet, but
So two words that I keep hearing. I'm hearing frankincense, as if that is the scent. And then I also keep hearing Melchizedek.
interesting. Because he would be a high priest. Um, so he would offer some kind of he would offer some sort of incense. Um,
And that also could represent the man in the four faces
mhm.
as the priest. Isn't he also in charge of the treasury?
Yeah, yes, actually, that's what they tell me at least.
Jill, let me know when you come back. I'll type that. That way I could catch her up. So Jill, the steam from the fire and the water caused us to be lifted higher.
Okay.
And I was smelling the sense of frankincense. And then I also heard Melchizedek. We were talking about the lion also being one of the four faces of God. And then looking at Melchizedek, and if he has something to share with us.
Well, I'll tell you something. I started seeing these beautiful gold chains as in necklaces.
Hmm.
But to me, it spoke of wealth, great wealth. And so I do think it's probably associated also with Melchizedek.
Yeah,
The
because I
treasury.
actually saw I saw gold coins, which was interesting.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm sensing a lot of gold suddenly too. I don't, just gold.
Yeah, I even saw like it in a satchel or something. Kind of,
A passage comes to mind where Jesus talks about out of the treasury, a good man brings good forth, good treasure. And we were talking about earlier that Melchizedek is the keeper of the treasury. So he might be offering items to you that symbolize something that's going to materialize in your life. So for instance, if you're being given a golden chain, that might signify that you have authority over a particular place, or like a person would have authority over a city or something. Gold coins would symbolize that you have fiscal authority, maybe with money or tendering or trading. I know we've had some interesting engagements with trading, but I was thinking maybe he's offering things that symbolize something.
yeah, that's
That
good.
sounds right, yeah. It's not coins for me, it's more like walls of gold or passageways or whatnot.
well, and that, to me, that's the temple. I mean, that's what I think of, and especially like the huge chains. They had huge chains in the temple that had, pomegranates on them, and I mean, they had them in the pillars too, but they did have gold, these huge gold linked chains adorning the temple. So that's sort of interesting.
Hmm.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like I want to take these gold coins and just lay them on the altar, trade them in.
Yeah. It's really like an investment, right?
Yeah.
We
Mhm.
can call it investing.
Had a beautiful little flash of the color, I'd say beautiful purplish color. Little blue, purplish color of some kind, beautiful.
I just had the taste of a pomegranate, which is so funny. I can literally taste it.
Interesting.
Color are they?
Red, reddish, dark red, kind of purpley.
Yeah, that might be the color I saw.
And again, pomegranates speak obviously fruitfulness, but abundance and in all things. But I believe specifically for this engagement, abundance of wealth, of, like provision, I feel like we're stepping into being provision. It's part of the age of peace, is becoming provision for others.
Mm.
So what we can do is, trade these things, or, in our physical terms, invest these things into the kingdom, because they were given to us, So as we invest them, we're like leveraging up, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
We're not receiving provision, we're actually being provision.
Yeah, I like that. Planting.
I don't know what this has to do with anything, but like my whole body wants to move and vibrate right now, like from the inside out, I would say. There's a lot of frequency moving, motion.
That's what you call resonating.
Yeah.
It's a good thing, yeah.
Welcome, Eliosa. Eliosa? How do you pronounce that?
Eloisa?
Hello, Eloisa.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
I hear like a TV or something. Is it a TV? Is it a radio or?
Nothing here.
Okay.
Yeah, it just started. It was pretty loud.
Eloisa,
Yes. No.
can you mute?
Is it me?
I think it is.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I thought I'm on the Bluetooth.
Let me look.
Sorry.
It's okay. Right now, everybody is unmuted, so maybe we all need to mute,
Yeah.
except Kathy. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry for that. Let me see. What is? So,
Thank you. So interesting. As soon as I traded my coins, put them on the altar, I just saw like all of these sprouts like coming up. Like food type sprouts, like wheat and other things.
Are they gold sprouts? Preferably.
Did it
No, they're
produce
very
anything that,
organic.
did it
Organic
produce any
looking.
fruit? Did it produce any fruit that was edible?
Yeah, I am getting the word provision.
Yeah,
Yay!
definitely edible. Definitely edible.
Well, people do eat gold.
Yes.
They do.
And silver. Mhm.
Yes.
Yes, and silver.
Mhm. Colloidal.
So-
Colloidal.
And even in Ormus, which is, monatomic gold.
Yes, monatomic gold. Yes, yes, yes. I haven't heard that in a long time.
I know. I was
Wow.
just looking it up a couple days ago. I thought I
Oh,
might
really?
give it a try again. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But so can we eat that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll
And
pick them and I'll hand them out to y'all.
okay.
All right.
All right, there you go, Jill. There's some right
Thank
there.
you.
Andy and Debbie and
Thank
Eliosa.
you. Yes. Keep it close to my heart.
Mm.
Oh, there's more. There's more where that comes from.
Yeah,
Debbie.
there.
Right. It's raining gold.
Yeah,
is.
totally. Yeah, and I'm still just getting that strong frequency smell of frankincense, which is such a wonderful smell. Mm.
Maybe we ought to trade that in too,
Okay.
because yeah, I mean, it's very valuable
Mm-hmm.
when you get the highest grade of it.
I used
Yeah.
to always smell that when Jesus would show up in my encounters, and really the power, the presence of Jesus was there with that smell for me. I don't know if it means something or not.
Yeah, no, I heard that's what the Father smells like is frankincense.
It was awesome. It was beautiful.
So as you were, picking the gold sprouts, of course I saw you picked one and 5 grew up in
Uh-huh.
its place. So it's a never ending abundance.
Yeah, and you know what I saw when I traded in the frankincense? I just saw like thousands of angels come out.
Yes.
What I get is the sense of this is a principle of multiplication.
Mm,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
that's good.
What's beyond multiplication? Like, what is there like a quantum multiplication or, something?
Exponents, exponential.
Okay.
Explosion.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think I felt like it was, more than multiplication. It was some sort of mathematical term or scientific term. In other words, something we can't even fathom.
Yeah, because it's almost like these angels were just released.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like they're marching or helping to bring us forward
Yeah, because they're definitely
on a mission.
helpers. They're definitely here to help for sure.
Yes, we welcome the angelic what would we call that? Not flock.
Almost like an army.
Okay, we'll just say army or legion even.
Uh-huh.
And so we welcome you all and honor you and just say thank you for your participation in this.
Mhm.
Yes, they're
Amen.
very busy.
Yeah,
They're very busy and active.
Hmm. So I was looking at them more and I saw them all carrying scrolls. They all had scrolls.
I have an interesting suggestion here. I'm wondering if there's another principle here. It's called reciprocation. And I'm wondering if they want to trade into you.
You know, it's funny that you said that, Andy, because I saw myself like throwing more of those golden chains, but for the angels. Like I felt like we were to also trade into them.
Yeah, reciprocating.
Yeah. And then in turn, they would reciprocate us and others.
Mhm.
Is that kind of what you were thinking, Andy?
Yes. It's kind of a principle in the spirit that sometimes, trading goes both ways. And so I'm wondering if they see something in you that they want to trade into. So maybe they're kind of like, it'd be like if you ran for office or something and I said, I want to finance or run for office because I see potential, something like that. They see something in you that they want to trade into, that they like.
Cool.
I'm on it.
Yes. So my gold sprouts looked like honey sticks, which is funny.
Honey sticks?
Yeah.
What? It's edible.
Yeah.
Everything you've seen is edible. That's really.
Yeah, I think I might eat a couple of the scrolls too.
Yes.
Reminds me of that scene from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory when he tells the kid, everything in the room is eatable. I mean, edible. I mean, you can eat anything in the room you see.
Yeah, that's for sure. I really like the word reciprocation for some reason. Hmm.
Yes. I think it was Wisdom one time was teaching me about the principle of reciprocity. Things kind of flowing back and forth.
Yeah.
not only are things flowing into, but they're flowing out of.
Well, and I really think that that's how the kingdom economy works anyway.
Yeah, reciprocation stood out to me too, and it's amazing that you're speaking about that because I'm standing here literally and in the spirit moving and speaking in the spirit, moving my hands, my arms, everything. It's like I feel like I'm interacting with angels or with heaven for all of us. It's like it's a reciprocation. And you just said that. It really goes, and I feel like whatever's going on here is for the within and without. It's for the insides of us. Also, it's for the outside. It's not just for within us, but it's also without, outside.
Well,
So,
yeah, I
it's
feel like it's
reciprocal.
for others as well, because there are so many, the legion of angels, there's way more than just us five could.
Yeah, we just symbolize that. That's true.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that these are at least some of them, maybe not all of them, but the ones that are trading into you they're like investors. So in some way they'll get a return out of it. I don't know what that return will be, but they might be like investor angels.
Well, and I also felt that these scrolls were kind of had been not necessarily abandoned, but never utilized. I mean, like people they didn't make it, and they didn't complete their scroll. So it just seems like these are scrolls that were
Like they're
not
being
like,
passed on to us, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Others.
I was sitting here engaging. I only got one, and it said something said, "How about this one?" And it kind of opened, and I was told not to eat it, but to keep it in my personal library. Sometimes in the spirit, you can get books given to you in scrolls and things, and that's always a good thing when you're given a book in the spirit. But I'm also thinking that some of the scrolls are like failed or their financial plans or financial strategies or assignments that didn't get completed or but I was just kind of wondering. I was like, okay, which one do I grab? And
Yeah, even like inventions.
I was told that it was yet another wisdom scroll, so I took it, um, and I think I'll keep this one. But
Yeah, because we have the garden in our heart that we can plant them in. We have different spots in our garden that we put them in. Like I have a chest that I like to put scrolls and things in. But yeah, I think there's definitely a theme of prosperity and provision, wealth in tonight. So as far as the structures that you were seeing, Debbie, were you able to trade those in?
Were you talking to me?
Yeah.
What was that you said about
Well,
trading?
because you had seen I saw the gold coins and Jill saw the gold chain. What did you see when you traded in your gold well, I know Jill, I mentioned it was like the temple. So that was probably where the altar was at. So what did you get, Jill, when you traded in your chains?
I just know,
Oh, go ahead, Debbie.
just right now, I'm seeing tons of scrolls coming out of like a heart, a big heart. There's just a lot of scrolls in a heart, which could be the heart of the Father. I don't know. Or our hearts. I don't know.
Hmm.
All I saw was just an innumerable amount of these beautiful golden chains. That's what I saw.
So when
I mean, like more of it,
so when you traded them in, more just came back out?
Yes.
Oh, well, then I want one.
Oh, well, sure. Here, I'm just going to throw them to you guys. Ready?
Yeah.
We'll play horseshoe. So they're going to land around your neck.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm passing them out.
I
There you
like
go.
that.
And I am throwing
Good
just
visual.
them to the angels. Yes.
Nice. Yeah. It's kind of
I
like
received. I handed one to you, Debbie.
Thank you. There's bullseyes going off in the spirit. I hear it ringing.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
now I can.
Okay, let's see. A passage comes to mind with the golden chains, and then the scrolls kind of something hit me about them. You said they were in a heart, and I'm wondering if these scrolls are either A, unclaimed scrolls, or B, they're scrolls that are presently inactive, but they're on Father's heart because maybe the people aren't doing what their scroll says, and so that's on his heart, and he wants something done about it. Or maybe he's offering some of them to you. So, but here I found a passage that reminded me of the golden chains, and it kind of relates to the scrolls. It comes out of Ecclesiastes 12:6 and 7. It says, "Remember your Creator before the silver cord is loosed, or the golden bowl is broken, or the pitcher shattered at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the well. Then the dust will return to the earth as it was, and the spirit will return to God who gave it." And not to sound that's not being given in a morbid sense, but what I'm saying is these people were sent to earth to fulfill these scrolls, and perhaps these chains are symbolic of being linked to individuals who are maybe still living, and God wants them to take their scrolls more seriously. So perhaps by trading into them, you help them out and help them get started on their scrolls, which is exactly what we do on this channel here, or any ministry. You trade into people's scroll. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention and show that, because the chains could symbolize a connection between heaven and earth with the people. So there could be something there with a trade as well.
Yeah, and I do believe that the angels are to help them with their scrolls.
That might be why they were sent here as well.
I think that that's begun. Whatever was needed is needed. Yeah, it is on the Father's heart. And I think that we've been doing that. There was so much activity in the spirit realm and movement here in the room going on. I believe that it's begun already. We've begun this.
Good. Good. That's really good. Yeah, this is interesting too, because church on Sunday, I go with my husband. It was all about, that you have unlimited potential with provision when you're working out or playing out, or when you're working your scroll, what you were designed to do. So
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting that this is, it must be a message that's going through the spirit realm to people.
Yeah, I would agree. I heard the same thing today. Every now and then I'll listen to Mike Popovich, and he was talking about that.
Oh,
And so,
wow.
yeah, so I think that's just confirmation, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, he's right on, spot on usually with what he says prophetically.
So what do you call it when someone's, I said working their scroll, or what is the word that you use? Fulfilling their scroll,
Or
maybe?
carrying it out,
Carrying
because
it out.
often, yeah, their scrolls are often steps of destiny, like one step. So I call it, yeah,
Yeah,
working
they're
it out.
fulfilling. Yeah, I think you're right. Working it out. I always heard it called too, fulfilling your mandate.
Right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, by the way.
Well, no, it's funny because we had once had to kind of decide what the difference is between a mandate and a scroll.
Interesting.
Because one is like the actual blueprint of it, and then one is the fulfilling it, or the step-by-step process of it. So I don't know if they're one and the same or not, or
Yes.
because people get kind of stuck on words. Like, well, the scroll isn't the same as the mandate.
Yeah, the scroll is like I like to think of it as the legal paperwork agreement. So in other words, God's provision will not cover anything outside that scroll. So if I want to go out and be Joel Osteen, provision is not going to pay for that, because that's not what God agreed to. God didn't agree to that, so the provision is only going to cover what God agreed to. So we have to find out, or the people have to find out what's on their scroll. Usually that comes through prophetic words of knowledge, encouragement, trading into people, and the like. And perhaps some of these angels are each here to help these scrolls get fulfilled, get walked out. So maybe that's why they're here. They were assigned to those individuals that were the owners of those scrolls. And of course, some of them, want to trade into you as well.
I get what you're saying, Andy. At the same time, our Father is so merciful, so graceful, full of loving kindness, that he will provide provision no matter what. That's the way I look at it.
That probably didn't come out exactly how it sounded. I meant,
I think I do understand. But I just wanted to say that for the recording.
yeah, yes.
It's just
We
a point of conversation.
don't want people to think that if they're not fulfilling their scroll,
Right,
they're going to be in poverty.
yes,
right.
yes, exactly. I meant more in terms of, let's say, for instance, God asks you to write a book. It might be a specific book he wants to download. Well, the provision for that will typically show up, when God is ready to get that moved. I've seen people do that. They would maybe write a book or something and then never act on it. So the provision never showed up because they didn't act. And so perhaps what's required is for them to go, okay, Lord, I've walked in this to the best of my ability. What provision do you have to get this off the ground? And pull that out of heaven into earth, manifest that in their life as it's done in heaven, and get that scroll into written form in the earth, which would be a book. In this case. So yeah, that's kind of, I think, where I was going. I wasn't trying to suggest that God is not going to provide for people because they're not getting it yet. Because I mean,
Yeah.
we're all getting it.
Yeah, we're all in the process of getting there, right?
I'm still figuring things out myself. Like, okay, what am I going to do with this piece, Lord? Where does this piece fit? How in the world are we going to get this off the ground? Or whatever. And so sometimes I understand people are just kind of afraid to step out into their scroll, and I think that might be what's on Father's heart, is getting people to step out in faith and operate in their scrolls, find out what their scroll says, and then do it with all their doer. And so maybe that's what's on Father's heart. And
Definitely. And I think that, this is a good opportunity now just to thank him for releasing these scrolls with help and provision from the angels.
Remember too, I also said, I think some of them, and maybe it's just some of the scrolls, had financial plans on them.
Right.
I don't know why I got that particular wording, but it was like some of these are financial planning scrolls. A lot of people actually, yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people, a lot of believers, believe it or not, struggle with money or income, and they're
fearful
Yeah.
because they don't see the heavenly provision for them to be able to just step out in faith, with their scroll.
Yeah, it's really a difficult thing. I've been both, and I know what happens in that mindset. So maybe that's also something we can release, is that grace in them, and that the faith. And what else do you guys see in that?
Because we had the power from the steam, we should
Yeah.
release that steam, and the power that goes with it, kind of to energize and to push, lift.
Or I think it's that they would have a supernatural confidence in their in their God, in themselves, to step out. But it's something. I know that there's something more to that I'm unable to, put into words. I know the feeling.
Well, we were shown a whole bunch of things with the frankincense, which is actually the scent of the Father. I mean, if people were to start smelling that, because I know the angels can just kind of, put that into their senses, and then they just get this new revelation.
Yeah, that's good.
True. Hebrews talks about having your spiritual senses sharpened so that you're able to discern between good and evil.
There you go.
I heard a story of a man one time. This was a couple hundred years ago, actually. He said that his spiritual senses, he could smell things. And I'll give you a for instance. He said when he was around dishonest people, that they would smell like burned toast. That he knew that they were dishonest if he had a whiff of burnt toast when they got around their presence. And so sometimes people can pick up things in the spirit and they're like, why did I get that little sense? Or why do I
Yeah, or
smell?
what is that scent? And then they go around, they start sniffing all the different scents to find it. Oh, that's frankincense. I wonder what that represents, you know?
Yeah. Or they get around someone and they're like, every time I'm around you, I smell flowers
Yeah.
or candy, or it would be a general indication that that person is honest and sweet. And
Well, yeah, it's definitely a supernatural phenomena. It's a supernatural thing that we can expect out of this ascension tonight, that would go forth, and that people will have that sense. What else can we pull from this ascension tonight that we can release? I know we released the scrolls with the angels and the help and the provision.
And the encouragement, supernatural encouragement. I think that's basically what you were just saying. Supernatural confidence, that people would see that they are really to be provision for others, and that they would step into that they would see it as their inheritance, as part of their inheritance. Not
Exactly.
just to receive provision, but to be provision
Provide,
for
to
others.
be
Yeah.
provision, to be provision. Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
And then I also think
And
that
I
we
think
can,
too,
go ahead.
oh no, go ahead.
I also think that we can take all of this and plant it in our garden as well.
Yes.
Our own scrolls and our own trades and our reciprocating assignments.
Yeah. And
So
all I was
will
going to
never
add,
be forgotten.
exactly. And I was just going to add too that I would ask that we release them to be taught how to come up and engage and in kind of engage with heaven. People are going to have to learn how to ascend or go up or go before Father or whatever they call it, and learn some of this more mystical stuff, because as we're exiting the church age and entering into the kingdom age, more is being required. The tactics are changing. And so,
Yeah, we were just having a discussion about that. Are we going into the kingdom age, or are we now going into the Melchizedek age?
yeah,
I
I've
think
always heard it called the kingdom age, but I don't know.
honestly, I feel like I feel like most of the church is still in the church age.
It hasn't gotten to the kingdom age yet. I hear you.
Yeah, but and they're going. I mean, they're getting there.
Yeah.
Yes.
But us, we should at least be living from the age of Melchizedek.
Yes. Agree.
But at the same time, I know that we, depending on where we are, that we can live out of many ages, many different ages at once.
Yes.
And I do see the world, I mean, this 3D world is really, believe it or not, on the precipice of the golden age. And it looks completely opposite right now. And so because we saw the gold, I'm going to release that and proclaim that the 3D world, the earth that we see right now, is actually right on the edge of stepping into the golden age.
Yes.
Amen.
And I release the angels that they
Thank
would
you.
also
I receive.
help carry that out and
Amen. I receive.
usher it along, move it along. We saw them moving things along
We did.
earlier. Yeah. So maybe that was part of it then, you know?
Yeah. Well, it kind of goes all
Amen.
together with everything that we've seen tonight.
Yeah.
Jill, I when we say we planted it in our garden, and I see the throne as well. It's look like I'm getting is after we planted it in our garden, and we surrender it all in the throne, in the feet of the Father, that He is the one who will gonna multiply those everything that will planted. Because it's like same, it's trading. Like we trade it, we give it back to Him.
Yeah. Exponential multiplication.
Yes. Amen. Thank you, Lord.
Very good. Does anybody have anything to add before I turn the recording off?
I have a question. Like, how do we live like we're living in the Melchizedek, or in, as Jill said, day by day, like living in with our stroll, what we have in our scroll.
Well, Eloisa, I mean, you know, because I'm around you and I know you, I see that you're living almost fully in the age of Melchizedek, which is great because, you know, you just stepped into all of this. So I'm just encouraging you, and you can, you know, just receive that and put it in your heart and know that there's more. There is more, but you're moving fast. I see that.
Thank you,
I
Lord. I
I
received
would
that,
like
Jill.
I would like to share something that kind of elaborates on that. I had the fortune of checking up on a friend last week that I hadn't spoken to in years, and we got to talking on the phone, and she had went through a lot of changes and everything, and she started telling me about a dream she had, where she was basically showed a door, and she went into this door, and well, actually it was two doors. She was told she had a choice, that she could go through this door, and over the door it had the inscription Baptist, and there was another door that was more scary and mysterious to her, and it had these letters written over it that she could not understand. Well, in the dream, she didn't want to be alone, and she saw people going through the other door, so she said, I'm gonna follow them. So she followed them through this door, and she said when she did, she entered into something that was like a large castle, but it was dank, cold, frigid, and kind of lonely, and the people didn't interact really well. They didn't even interact with her. Some of them she didn't even know, some of them she did. Well, she said she wandered through this castle for a long period of time until she came to this garden courtyard where there was this tall, beautiful, and in her terms, she said it looked like a goddess, um, a being standing there that was making things with her hands. She made this young lady a small doll and handed it to her. By the way, I believe this being may have been wisdom in the form that this girl would understand. Anyway, she took the doll from wisdom, and one of her friends or cousins walked up beside her and asked her to hand her the doll, and she did. And when she did, the other person broke the head. And she said that she was so devastated that her doll had gotten broken. Then the other person went away, and she handed the doll back to wisdom and said, I am so sorry, I didn't know that that would happen. And the woman looked back at her and like no problem. She just took her hands and fixed it and handed it back to her. And they had a long conversation, most of which she didn't remember. And then she was given another opportunity to go back through the mysterious door. And the reason I'm telling you this story is I think that this is going to be something that's going to be happening to a lot of church folks. They're going to be given the choice whether to go through the common church door or the religious door, or they're going to be given the opportunity to go through the mysterious door that's going to take them to realms and heavens and dimensions and things like that. But going through that door is going to guarantee that they are going to be alone a lot, which is something that this individual didn't want at first. It scared her. But by faith, she just encountered this being of wisdom. She didn't even know who she was, and this being was so kind to her and gave her some help. And I think what's going to happen is a lot of people are going to gravitate toward the mystery door, and they're going to turn away from the church religious door because people are tired of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
agree.
the reason I share that story is because it seems like the church is being called into another age, and it's going to end up looking kind of like some people go, no, we want to stay in this age. The church age is very comfortable. We like it here. We like our structure. We like our leaders. We like our laws we abide by. We like our standards. We like our cliques, whatever. But the other door is going to guarantee that you have autonomy, but you're going to feel alone when you first go through it. It's going to be scary. And it's like I told her, I was like, friend, when you go through that door, it's a point of no return. You can't go back through it. It's done. Once you go through that door, you're not going to want to go back through the other door, for one. And I think that's a choice that a lot of church people are going to get. They're going to get this choice where they can have this really cool birthright, but it's going to cost them something, and they have to decide whether they want to pay that price or stay as they are. And so that's something that I was thinking about as we were releasing these things upon people, that they got to be not afraid to step out and walk on water, and not like the people in the boat putting people down when they're afraid to try. So I think that's kind of for anybody that's kind of wondering about the church age and I guess what the Melchizedek age, or whatever you guys choose to call it. I really think God is calling people to different ages, to engage different realms of heaven, different circles, different spheres, different beings. And it's going to look scary. A lot of it is going to look on the surface like New Age stuff. But what it really is, it's the original. It's the not counterfeit. And that's what we're being called into. But it's scary. And it's going to take some navigation. They're going to need help. They're going to need help landing those scrolls. So anyways, I apologize for the length of that story, but I was thinking about it as you guys were talking. And
Thank you, brother, for sharing. It's like the movie Matrix. It's your
yes,
choice. To your story too, I said the head is broken. Yeah, because we need to broke our old religious system. We need to broke our head, and they will gonna fix it the way how they would like to fix it. The wisdom, the lady wisdom, or
well, what happened with this
That's what I
friend
see.
was very interesting. She told me that when she had decided to get her life right, everyone in her life turned against her. I mean, they would get visibly angry at her and walk away from her. She lost a marriage. She lost friendships. In fact, that's kind of how we ended up talking was I was like, I think she needs some help. So I'm going to reach out to her and see what's going on. But she went through that time period where it's like people, things, places are stripped out of a person's life, and they're being stripped down to what's like bare metal. And the broken head on the doll, I think, symbolized being hurt by people very close to her, which people
Mhm.
did that.
Yes.
And I think that's going to seem very common with these people, is they're going to get hurt by people that don't understand them. They're going to be family members, and so forth, but they're going to get hurt by these people, and they're going to be like, okay, God, well, I thought I was doing the right thing, you know. But it's just a part of the pruning process. Some of the things can't go through the door with them.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that
Yes.
this will help a lot of people
Agree.
listening to the recording. So thank you,
Yes.
Andy. I'm going to turn the recording off.
That all happened to me. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure we all have stories, but let me let's say thank you for listening, all of you YouTube listeners, and we'll see you next time.
Yay.
I received everything from the Lord. Thank you.